What happens when Hollywood creates an image so perfect that no human could survive inside it? Old Hollywood sold elegance, discipline, and control. But behind the studio gates, something else was happening. Pressure cracked people. Fame pushed too hard. And some women simply refused to behave the way the system demanded. Halfway through this list, one story shifts from rebellion to total collapse. And once you hear it, you will never see classic glamour the same way again. Number 15. Jayne Mansfield. Jayne Mansfield was not subtle, and that was the problem. Hollywood wanted her to be playful, manageable, and decorative. Jayne decided to be louder, bolder, and impossible to ignore. She leaned into spectacle long before publicity stunts became standard. Bright outfits, over-the-top appearances, public moments designed to dominate headlines, whether studios approved or not. At first, it worked. Mansfield became a sensation in films like The Girl Can't Help It, 1956. But attention came at a cost. Studio executives grew uneasy. Directors complained that focus shifted away from the work and toward the chaos surrounding it. Mansfield was marketed as an image, but she kept reminding Hollywood there was a person underneath. Her personal life mirrored the same intensity: multiple marriages, constant press attention, a refusal to slow down even when advised to. Hollywood prefers stars who burn steadily. Jayne burned fast and bright. As tastes changed in the 1960s, studios moved on. Mansfield struggled to adjust. The spotlight she once controlled began to slip. Her story is not about talent lost. It is about an industry that encouraged excess, then punished it when it became inconvenient. Jayne Mansfield did not lose control quietly. She did it in full view of the cameras, and Hollywood never forgave her for that. Number 14. Peggy Cumins. Peggy Cumins looked like a dream Hollywood could mold. Born in England, she entered American films young, polished, and promising. Her breakthrough came with Gun Crazy, 1950. The performance was intense, electric, and far more dangerous than studios expected. Audiences loved it. Executives did not. Hollywood liked women bold on screen, but controlled off it. Peggy challenged that balance. She pushed against expectations, questioned roles, and refused to play the obedient starlet. The result was swift and unforgiving. Offers dried up. Doors quietly closed. Unlike others on this list, Cumins did not spiral publicly. Instead, Hollywood froze her out. She returned to Britain, her American career effectively erased. No scandal headlines, no dramatic breakdown, just disappearance. That silence is what makes her story unsettling. One strong performance, one refusal to conform, and the system responded by pretending she never existed. Peggy Cumins was not chaotic in behavior. She was chaotic in potential. Hollywood did not know how to manage a woman who refused to shrink herself, so it removed her from the picture entirely. Out of control does not always look loud. Sometimes it looks like vanishing. Number 13. Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck terrified people for a different reason. She was in control, too much control. Rising from extreme hardship, Stanwyck built her career with discipline bordering on obsession. She memorized everything, missed nothing, expected perfection from herself and everyone around her. Directors respected her, co-workers feared her. On screen, she was unstoppable. Films like Double Indemnity, 1944, showed a woman who did not soften herself for comfort. Off-screen, that same intensity strained relationships. Her marriage collapsed. Friendships dissolved. Hollywood admired her strength, but struggled with her refusal to be warm. Studios prefer stars who can be guided. Stanwyck guided herself. That independence unsettled an industry built on control. She was labeled difficult, not because she failed, because she demanded standards few could meet. Barbara Stanwyck never lost her career, but she lost something else: connection, flexibility, trust. Out of control does not always mean reckless. Sometimes it means refusing to bend when everyone expects you to break. Number 12. Susan Hayward. Susan Hayward carried intensity like a shadow. She brought raw emotion to every role. Too raw, some said. Hollywood celebrated her strength in films like I Want to Live, 1958. But behind the scenes, that same fire consumed her personal life. Relationships collapsed under emotional strain. Work became both escape and pressure. As years passed, the energy that fueled her performances began to exhaust her. Hollywood noticed the volatility. Whispers followed. Studios hesitated. Hayward did not crumble publicly. She worked through it, pushed forward, but the cost was visible. Health declined. Isolation grew. Her story is not about a sudden fall. It is about slow erosion. A system that demanded emotional extremes, then stepped back when the damage appeared. Susan Hayward gave Hollywood everything it asked for, and still it was not enough. Sometimes being out of control means holding on far longer than you should. Number 11. Lillian Roth. Lillian Roth lived two lives. Hollywood saw only one. She rose quickly, full of energy, charm, and promise. But behind the scenes, her world was unraveling. Pressure mounted, expectations tightened, and coping became survival. Her career slowed. Appearances grew erratic. The industry that once applauded her began whispering. Hollywood has little patience for instability unless it sells tickets. What makes Roth's story different is what came after. She did not disappear. She faced the collapse openly. Her later work, including I'll Cry Tomorrow, 1955, turned pain into performance. That honesty shocked audiences. It also exposed Hollywood's role in the damage. Roth became a symbol of what happens when pressure outweighs care. Lillian Roth lost control. Then she reclaimed her story. Hollywood never knew what to do with that. Number 10. Jean Seberg. Jean Seberg looked fragile. Hollywood underestimated how much pressure that image carried. She arrived as a fresh face, chosen personally by Otto Preminger for St. Joan, 1957. Expectations were enormous. The reaction was brutal. Critics tore her apart. Studios pulled back. Confidence cracked early. Seberg rebuilt her career in Europe, finding freedom in films like Breathless, 1960. But freedom came with attention. The press followed closely. Rumors multiplied. Headlines distorted reality. Public scrutiny became relentless. What followed was not loud chaos, but quiet erosion. Seberg withdrew. Trust faded. Paranoia crept in. Hollywood labeled her unstable instead of asking why she had been pushed so hard so young. By the late 1960s, the damage was clear. Roles declined. Isolation deepened. Her image shifted from promise to problem. Jean Seberg did not lose control in a single moment. She lost it slowly, under a spotlight that never softened. Hollywood watched, documented, and stepped aside. Her story proves that being out of control is not always explosive. Sometimes it is being watched until there is nothing left to protect. Number 9. Vivien Leigh. Vivien Leigh lived at extremes. On screen, she was precision and grace. Gone with the Wind, 1939, made her legendary. Off-screen, life was less controlled. Intense emotions, exhausting schedules, and personal strain followed her everywhere. Leigh gave everything to her roles. Too much, some believed. The line between performance and reality blurred. Long productions left her drained. Expectations never lowered. Hollywood praised brilliance, but ignored the cost. Relationships suffered. Work became unpredictable. Directors whispered, studios worried. When she faltered, compassion was limited. Despite unforgettable performances like A Streetcar Named Desire, 1951, instability became part of her reputation. Hollywood struggles with stars who are fragile and powerful at the same time. Vivien Leigh was not reckless. She was overwhelmed. And in old Hollywood, that distinction rarely mattered. She was out of control not because she lacked discipline, but because the system demanded perfection without rest. Number 8. Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner refused to be managed. She drank, argued, loved loudly, and ignored rules she did not respect. Studios tried to shape her. Ava pushed back harder. Her presence was magnetic, her behavior unpredictable. Films like Mogambo, 1953, proved her talent. But off-screen, chaos followed. Relationships were intense and public. Arguments spilled into headlines. Executives lost patience. Hollywood prefers stars who behave privately. Ava never pretended. She lived openly, daring anyone to stop her. As time passed, studios hesitated, insurance concerns rose, opportunities narrowed. Gardner continued working, but the system slowly withdrew its protection. Ava Gardner did not fall. She was edged out. Out of control sometimes means refusing to apologize. Ava Gardner never did, and Hollywood never quite forgave her for it. Number 7. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was never just a person. She was a project. Hollywood created the image. Marilyn carried the weight. Late arrivals, missed moments, emotional strain. Studios called it difficult. Few asked why. Behind the scenes, insecurity ruled. Marilyn questioned everything: scripts, direction, herself. Pressure mounted with every success. Films like Some Like It Hot, 1959, hid a deeper struggle. Studios grew frustrated. Co-stars waited. Headlines sharpened. The same system that sold her fragility turned against it. Marilyn did not control her image. It controlled her. And when she could not keep up, Hollywood labeled her unreliable instead of human. She became the symbol of excess and vulnerability at the same time. Marilyn Monroe was not out of control by choice. She was shaped until she broke. Number 6. Rita Hayworth. Rita Hayworth was transformed into a fantasy. Her real self was quieter. Hollywood changed her name, her hair, her voice. The result was a star who no longer recognized herself. Films like Gilda, 1946, made her iconic. Personally, the cost was immense. Marriages failed. Emotional strain deepened. Public expectations clashed with private reality. Rita struggled to balance who she was with who Hollywood demanded she be. As years passed, confusion followed. Mood shifts, withdrawal. The industry whispered but did not intervene. Roles slowed. Visibility faded. Hayworth was not wild. She was lost. Out of control does not always mean defiant. Sometimes it means disappearing inside the image you were forced to wear. Number 5. Veronica Lake. Veronica Lake's rise was instant. Her fall was just as fast. That famous hairstyle made her unforgettable. Studios built entire campaigns around it, but fame arrived before stability. Behind the scenes, Lake clashed with co-workers, challenged directors, and openly resisted authority. Hollywood tolerates attitude only when profits stay high. As pressure increased, so did tension. Her behavior grew erratic. Sets became tense. Roles diminished. The same industry that once protected her image began pulling away. Lake struggled to adjust when attention faded. Financial trouble followed. Pride kept her isolated. Hollywood had moved on quietly, without ceremony. Her story is uncomfortable because it feels sudden. One moment she was essential, the next forgotten. Veronica Lake did not break rules loudly. She simply stopped playing along. In old Hollywood, that was enough to be labeled unmanageable. Out of control sometimes means refusing to pretend everything is fine while the ground is shifting beneath you. In number 4, Judy Garland. Judy Garland was shaped before she could decide who she was. From childhood, she carried impossible expectations. Studios controlled her schedule, her appearance, her voice. Success came early, so did exhaustion. Films like The Wizard of Oz, 1939, made her immortal. They also trapped her. As she grew older, pressure did not ease. It intensified. Missed performances, emotional swings, industry whispers replaced concern. Garland was judged harshly for struggles she did not create. Hollywood demanded reliability without offering care. When Judy faltered, patience vanished. Contracts dissolved. Opportunities narrowed. Her talent never faded, but stability did. Judy Garland was not out of control by nature. She was pushed beyond limits, then blamed for collapsing under the weight. Her story remains one of the clearest examples of how brilliance can be consumed by expectation. Number 3. Frances Farmer. Frances Farmer scared Hollywood because she refused to submit. She spoke openly. She challenged authority. She rejected shallow roles. In an industry built on obedience, that made her dangerous. Public clashes followed. Arrests made headlines. Studios turned cold. Farmer's behavior was labeled unstable. Her independence was framed as disorder. The system responded with force rather than understanding. Her career collapsed swiftly. Opportunities vanished. Control was taken from her entirely. What followed was silence and isolation that erased her from the spotlight. Frances Farmer did not fit the mold. Hollywood did not try to reshape it. It removed her instead. Out of control sometimes means refusing to surrender your voice. And in old Hollywood, that refusal carried consequences that lasted a lifetime. Number 2. Tallulah Bankhead. Tallulah Bankhead never asked for approval. She lived loudly, spoke freely, and ignored boundaries. Hollywood watched in equal parts fascination and fear. Her wit was sharp, her presence overwhelming. Films like Lifeboat, 1944, proved her talent. Her behavior overshadowed it. Bankhead did not hide her lifestyle. She did not apologize for excess. Studios tolerated it because audiences could not look away, but tolerance has limits. As years passed, reliability mattered more than legend. Opportunities slowed, health declined, isolation followed. Tallulah Bankhead was not undone by scandal. She was undone by refusing restraint in a system built on control. She lived exactly as she chose. Hollywood never knew how to handle that. Number 1. Rita Moreno. Rita Moreno was never meant to rebel. Hollywood pushed her there. She entered the system young, talented, and eager. Studios quickly decided who she should be and what she should play. The roles repeated. The accents never changed. Opportunity came with limits clearly drawn. Moreno pushed back. She questioned the parts. She refused to stay silent. Hollywood responded with punishment, disguised as professionalism. Roles disappeared. Meetings stopped. Doors closed without explanation. Despite winning an Academy Award for West Side Story, 1961, her career stalled. Success did not translate into freedom. Instead, she became a warning. Be grateful, be quiet, or be replaced. Moreno struggled with identity and frustration as years passed. The pressure to conform weighed heavily. Hollywood preferred obedience over growth. What makes her story powerful is not collapse, but resistance. She survived by stepping away rather than breaking publicly. That choice cost her decades of opportunity. Rita Moreno was labeled difficult for wanting dignity. In old Hollywood, that was enough to brand a woman out of control. Her legacy now stands as proof that survival itself can be an act of defiance. So ask yourself this: were these women truly out of control? Or were they reacting to a system that demanded perfection and punished vulnerability? Old Hollywood called them difficult, dangerous, impossible. But they were also honest, intense, and human. If one story here changed how you see classic stars, share it. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe for more hidden history. Because glamour fades, truth does not.